everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is the Codes Fair and Farmers Market Committee. Today is Tuesday, February the 18th. I do detect a quorum. I believe that we have only one item on our agenda, unless someone has a late addition. But that is, on second reading, is Bill BL 2020-153. The lead sponsor, Councilmember Murphy, is present. We also have John Michael here representing the Codes Department. This one,
and Lucy Kemp is available if needed.
Is available as well. Great. And this ordinance establishes a new fee structure for sidewalk waivers. And there is a proposed amendment. Would you like us just to go ahead and move the amendment?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Is there a motion
A motion to move the amendment.
All right. Great. Would the sponsor just explain just what the amendment does, please?
Sure. So what the amendment does is, actually, can I get on the bill as amended? Because it might just make better sense to take it all at once. If you've already amended the bill.
We need to know what
Can
the
you move the
amendment
bill?
is for.
Did we vote on the amendment?
You didn't vote on the amendment. Okay.
No, we haven't.
So we'll just do this kind of chicken and egg.
Yeah.
The amendment triples the fee. And then I can explain the fee when we're on the bill.
So to 900 and something?
Yes.
It triples the in lieu fee?
No, it
it's
triples
the
the
waiver,
application fee. And so if you get me on the bill, then I can explain it all.
So let's do the bill first. So all in favor?
All in
the
favor
bill
of
of
the
the
amendment?
Of the amendment.
Of the amendment.
So do we need to move the bill and then the amendment
No, we
separately?
need to move the amendment first.
Let's
which
move the
already
amendment.
You have
moved and
moved the bill
seconded.
and you've seconded it, so now you need to take a vote on the amendment so I can be on the
We're on a
bill.
vote on an amendment.
Yes.
We're voting on an amendment right now, is all we're
We're
voting
voting
on.
to have discussion on the amendment. So there's a motion for the amendment, and then we're going to have discussion.
All we need to do is vote on the amendment. I think that's what we need
Yeah,
to do.
because I'd like to get on the bill as amended.
Okay. So
Yep.
all in favor? Any opposed? No. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's how this legislation came about.
So procedurally, now I make a motion to move the bill as amended.
Yes, please.
Somebody second.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Try not to take over the committee, Brett. All right, so here's where this bill came about. And so you've got a pretty lengthy letter from me, which I'm sure you all read 5 times, right? Because
I read
it's
it
very
once,
lengthy.
but it was long.
Thank you. So literally what I did is I basically wrote some of it myself, but then I copied and pasted from the Codes Waiver website of how you go about getting a waiver for a sidewalk. So when we passed this legislation at the end, kind of at the end of last term, we did not put a fee on the application for a sidewalk waiver. Now, if you're going through the Board of Zoning Appeals to pay the in lieu or not build the sidewalk that you're required to do, you do have to pay an application fee. But at that time, it was our will to wait and see how this played out, see what the impact on the departments were, see how many people were doing this, and that type of thing. So as planning chair, I've kind of taken a bit of my job responsibility assigned to myself, that looking at things that planning staff department is doing that either is not being recouped in fees or services, or are they services that they're doing that should be done by a different department or being done by our staff or things like that. I see that as part of my role as chair. And so that is where I looked at and realized that when we started, I was like, why are we seeing all these sidewalk waiver requests coming through? And so I said, I had forgotten that we hadn't put a fee on it, quite frankly. So I asked, and they said there is no fee. So basically, what you could do is, if I am building a new house development, I could either pay what's the fee at the BZA now? $250?
$200 for a commercial development.
$200. I could pay $200 to roll the dice at the BZA, or I could roll the dice for a waiver for free. And so the way I looked at it, being with my kind of neighborhood first lens perspective, is that when we go through the waiver process, it sets up our staff to then, our staff being codes, public works and planning to basically be negotiating with these developers or the property owner to figure out what sidewalk they're going to build or what they're going to pay. And quite frankly, most of the time, if you hire an attorney or something like that, they are paying less or building less than they would be required otherwise. And so it's almost like this waiver process gave them a get out of jail free card, where our neighbors, as Russ and I share a lot of our district lines together, we have constituents that are constantly asking us, why wasn't a sidewalk built here, right? And so it's almost like, from my perspective, it was setting our staff and our departments up to negotiate against what our neighborhoods and a lot of our constituents that we hear from want, which is more sidewalks. Now, there are cases that it is appropriate for a sidewalk waiver to be granted, and so I am not besieging that or anything like that. But the fact is that these three departments are putting staff hours in on this. They did not calculate any indirect costs. It was strictly, I asked them to count up the people that come to the room, that are in the room where it happens, and calculate how many hours roughly is spent, what are their salaries, divide it by how many they get a month, calculate that out, and shockingly, it was only 360 on average. Some are more, some are less. So that is what was originally filed. Last meeting, I thought that I wouldn't make it at all, which is why I sent the letter and said I was going to defer it because I had a work event. But in that meanwhile, I had a conversation with Director Bill Herbert, who said actually what is happening is that developers or builders or property owners are rolling that free dice, spinning the wheel, and they're being told, okay, you'll have to build this or you'll have to pay X. The staff, Metro staff, is determining that. And they're saying either, okay, we agree to that, or we'll build it ourselves. They're issued their building permit, they get through the process, they build the house, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's 12 months later, and they say, you know what, we actually don't want to do what we agreed to in the beginning. And so our staff is having to go back and spend that time again. Now, granted, there are times that, maybe the topography and the situation hasn't changed at all, but more likely than not, the staff is still going to have to go through all of that determination again. And so, like a lot of other fees that are tripled when if you demolish a house without pulling your permit, you then have to pay triple the fee. That is where the Codes Department has requested that the amendment go on that triples the fee, so they're not having to constantly go back and spend time to redo work and go over projects that they quite frankly have already done. And so what this does is it not only hopefully will eliminate some of those freebie spins or second go around, so hopefully it will make the process more efficient, but at the end of the day, the main purpose here is that we are recouping the costs that our staff is spending on these things. Now, you may ask me, Kathleen, where would you like this money to go? And I would say, well, I thought about putting it dedicated to sidewalk repair or sidewalk funds, but it is going to the general fund because ultimately, thanks to legislation and things at the state not poking the bear, it is important that we keep fees tied directly to what they're doing. And so when their staff salaries are coming out of the general fund, it's important that the fees to recoup their staff those staff hours is going back into the general fund. So that may be more than you ever wanted to know, but I'm happy to take questions.
One thing I do just want to note, just very quickly for everyone, is that the waiver system is really, really new by Metro standards. Even the sidewalk ordinance we've had during the last term was only a couple years old itself, was resulting in a large amount of BZA cases where, again, staff were looking at it, and then the BZA was spending a lot of time making decisions on these. So this is a little bit more of an administrative procedure that was brought through an update to the sidewalk legislation.
Right.
It's relatively new, but it also is becoming cumbersome for staff, is what we're hearing.
Yeah. For the council members that are newer, one of the reasons that we went this waiver route was because the BZA was getting over half their docket was just sidewalk waivers. And so it was kind of like, okay, how can we internalize some of this and take some of that off of the BZA cases, from BZA agendas going from, maybe 4 hours, 12 hours and whatnot.
And also, too, to remove our wonderful citizen appointees to the BCA from having to make engineering decisions and place a lot more of that into an engineering staff review.
So doesn't this in effect shove them right back to the BZA? My question is for you, John.
I would say, well,
Councilman, potentially yes, but rarely up to this point. The appellate path that is made available is, if anybody wants to seek relief from the black letter of the law under the current sidewalk ordinance, they are required to pursue a sidewalk waiver, which is, as the councilman rightly noted, and as Councilman Wood also rightly noted, an administrative process handled at the staff level, public works, engineers, stormwater engineers, licensed transportation planners from the planning department, and 2 land use lawyers from the codes department. At risk of sounding, I don't know, overly confident, those are the people you want looking at a sidewalk waiver request at a staff level. So the idea is that happens faster than the path to the BCA. But if, just theoretically, someone were in Councilman Pulley's district, maybe at the intersection of Lone Oak and Richard Jones or something, I don't know, just pulling from a hat here, and was wildly dissatisfied with the decision they got through the waiver process, they still have the ability to then file their appeal to the Board of Zoning Appeals, consistent with what law is already on the books. So no, it doesn't automatically, and that's the right question, no, it doesn't automatically send cases straight to the BZA.
Maybe not
Only
automatically.
people want to appeal it to that
My
next level.
point would be if the fee is such that it's 5 times as high as BZA appellate fee.
but it's not.
Wouldn't that
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna ask
About
this
the
question
triple
if you
fee
don't
part?
mind.
The triple fee, you're asking about the triple fee at the end.
And that will be rarely triggered, we think. Up to this point, if the fee is, I think, $360 is what's in the legislation, it was admittedly conservatively drawn because we don't want to invite courts to kick us in the teeth for having overreached. We can back those numbers pretty darn easily, and then some. But the concept of the triple fee is not entirely randomly assigned, although it already exists in the law under Title 16, which has to do with building permits like the council member mentioned. What we think here is we're actually having to undo some of the work that was already done during the building permit application. Go back and not only recook it, but look at it from a totally different perspective. Because now we're talking about what is the right engineering solution to not do the sidewalks, if there is one at all. Should they be allowed to pay into the sidewalk fund if they were not allowed to previously? Is there some intermediate or alternative plan that works better? All of these things take more time than just a rote, by the book, okay, you'll be building the sidewalk. You've shown me a site plan that demonstrates that you meet what's required by law. Not that hard, already covered in the building fee calculation. That's part of what you're paying for there, no problem. Some folks figured out that because we have a process that says you can't get your building permit while you're going through the waiver process, because we're determining what is going to be on your building permit requirements, they said, well, I got to get cracking on this. I've got a mortgage or I've got a construction loan that's really holding me back. I'll just turn in a site plan showing that I'm going to do it, get the building permit, not burn that month of turnaround time, and it is 4, sometimes even 5 weeks turnaround time on these. Still better than the 6 to 8 to 10 weeks at BZA, but that way I can get going. Oh, I'm maybe not 6 months in, maybe I'm just 6 days in, and I'll come back in and say, oh, we've encountered field conditions. Or we've encountered some unanticipated, turns out it's going to be exceedingly difficult to remove that NES pole. We're going to need to pursue a waiver. And we've already got the permit, so we'll just keep on trucking. Legally, I don't really have a position whereby I can issue a stop work order. We talked about that, but there's no safety concern.
And zoning administrator Michael is being, what he cannot say that I guess I will express to you is that I'm not saying that every time this situation comes up, someone is trying to game the system, but when you are able to freely roll the dice and have no cost, and again, these are still very low cost when we're talking about the greater scheme of building things, when you're able to just continue to roll the dice till you get the answer you want for free, I mean, so it is not meant to be punitive. It is meant to really reflect that they're going to have to go through a lot of work, but it is also meant to somewhat deter. Let's get it right the first time so you're not having to come back and they're not having to do this work again. Because I think at the end of the day, we have all had enough discussions that the members of this kind of committee he has talked about, they are already overworked, they are already overburdened, and we've got a lot of other work we want them to do, right? So
if you apply for the sidewalk waiver initially, it's $360. if you come back again to change that same, then that's when the triple fee kicks in, right?
Not quite. It's if you never made the request for a sidewalk waiver when you were getting your building permit. You obtain your building permit, and then having never asked for it at all, you come in and ask for it.
Then it's 3 times because you didn't do it. Okay, okay.
We don't think this is gonna come up much. We've kind of shied away from the word deterrent, but we do think it will have a dampening effect
Yeah.
on some of those
Okay,
circumstances.
I just wanted to make sure the timing of
I mean, that's why we have the triple the fee when you
Right.
don't get your permit and you do something.
I get
That's the right question though, too, I think.
So for, the hundreds of thousands of people that are actually watching right now
Yes.
on live TV, God bless you all. Let me ask what may be the dumbest question here known to man, but I think it might clarify things for both of us at least.
So why is it a dumb question and you point at me?
Because sometimes this might be a dumb
We've got
question.
another committee coming in at 5 o'clock, so.
My subdivision, old, large lots, no HOA, no sidewalks, wide streets, nobody wants a sidewalk. Neighbor decides he's going to do a massive renovation on his house, triggering a true building permit.
Why are you talking to me?
Now, instead of getting a sidewalk waiver attached to that request for a building permit instantly, now he's got to pay $360, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
If in fact he triggers the sidewalk requirement, which is a big if, it would be a very substantial renovation per your example that you're giving that would trigger a sidewalk requirement, not just I'm adding on a.
Actually, believe it or not, it's happened 5 times in the past year in my district alone. This is the reason why I'm asking
That
this
could be right,
question.
but we also have the update that was passed in July removed some of those requirements, even for right-of-way dedication for most additions.
Yeah, but I still get them.
The update that was done in July.
But my question, John Michael,
liberalized
my ultimate question is, nothing has changed, or this doesn't change anything on the initial request requirements for a sidewalk waiver, correct?
You're correct. The same, is it triggered or is it not analysis applies. The substance of the law is unchanged. This is very much process-oriented.
Yeah, it adds a $360 fee for a sidewalk waiver.
Getting a fee to work that's already happening and is
Okay.
not presently.
We're not
Capture
recouping the
with a fee.
costs. We're not recouping the costs that our staff is doing.
Is there any other discussion that needs to happen before we take a vote? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Thank you kindly.
congratulations, thank you. And this concludes the Codes Fair and Farmers Market Committee. Meeting is adjourned.